What's up, everybody? So Teddy here. So as you notice, this is not the 22 refresh RST that I usually post about. This is a 2024. It's an LT with the Duramax that I now own, right? So what happened to my RST? Basically, in a nutshell, there's a major issue going on with Chevys and GMCs right now with this brake failure. I had always assumed that when I bought my truck that I would probably end up having lifter issues because I got it with the 5.3. And I had never planned to keep the truck more than 100,000 miles anyway, so I bought a warranty out to 100,000 miles and basically was figuring that at some point I would end up with lifter issues. Hopefully I could have gotten away with it and then just traded the truck in, right at 100,000 miles and gotten something different. Went to a Sierra, which is what I really wanted next, right? So the problems for me with that truck basically started back in June. Towards the end of June, went to start the truck one morning and get a check engine light, and it's showing, service transmission, will not shift soon, blah, blah, blah. Truck drove fine for the next few days until I got it to the dealership. I tried to take it to this dealership close to me, and they were trying to void my warranty as soon as they seen it because it was lowered and had wheels on it. And I was like, you know what, forget it, just give me back my keys. And I took it back to the dealership that I bought it from because they were the ones that installed my drop kit, and just basically told me as long as I didn't notch the frame that my warranty would remain intact. So I called them up. They're like, yeah, go ahead, bring it down. It's about 50 miles away from here. Took it over there. They had the truck for a few days, said, okay, we found the problem. It's the master cylinder, and there's like a module or something, which I didn't understand because it wasn't showing anything for brakes. It was showing it for a transmission. But the way that it was explained to me was when one thing trips one thing, and then it trips another thing, and trips another thing, and basically all led back to the master cylinder and some module. So he said, you know what, no problem, it's covered under warranty. I got a new one coming, have you out of here in a day or two. Calls me back 2 days later saying that, asking me, hey, have you ever tried to wire a system into the truck? And I was like, no. Said, well, because, we keep trying to reprogram this, whatever it was, this module, and it wasn't accepting it. And they said that there was a short somewhere. They ended up keeping it for a few more days. Said that they found the short in the harness somewhere in the middle of the truck, but everything was good to go. I said, all right, cool. Got the truck back, very first week of August. I believe it was right after 4th of July. Everything was fine. Been driving, and I drive the shit out of that truck. In a year, I put 33,000 miles on there. So I spent a lot of time driving, right? So then probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I'm on the way to an appointment, and I was on a road, something like this, you go 45, 50 miles an hour, there's a bunch of stoplights. Well, I'm driving, and all of a sudden, every check engine light on my truck comes on. The dash is just lit up saying, brake failure, do not exceed 62 miles an hour, and showed a light for forward collision was what the ABS was on. ESC was on, the little parking light, the brake light was on, just a bunch of stuff, right? And the truck slowed itself down. But the problem was like I had no brakes. Once you go hit the brake, no brakes at all, went straight to the floor. I ended up coasting the truck over into the shoulder, and basically called the dealership, flipping out, called OnStar. They were like, all right, have the truck towed in tomorrow morning, no problem. They come get it, and he calls me 2-3 days later and says, all right, you're all good to go. The truck is fixed. All it needed was a software update. And I asked him, like, hey, are you sure, man? Because I don't want to be pulling that trailer right there that I fill them up with bikes, customers' bikes. I said, I don't want to be driving down the highway 85, 90 miles an hour, man. Come find out I ain't got no brakes. End up slamming into the back of somebody, killing myself, or God forbid, killing somebody else on the road. Nope, you're good to go. I said, all right. I went down there, picked up my truck, the whole way home, driving, slamming the brakes and everything, and everything was fine. Tell my girl that night, hey, tomorrow morning, you take it to work. Her commute is a lot further than mine. My commute is about a mile, you know, so I told her, you take it. On the way there, you know, she drove 30-something miles to work. It was fine. On the way back, she calls me hysterically crying, saying that she almost wrecked the truck because, you know, she was on one of these highways, these Texas highways. She was hauling ass. Somebody went to cut her off. She went to hit the brakes, lost all the brakes, all the lights came on. Same thing that happened to me. And she actually just put the truck into the shoulder, you know, where it's like dirt and grass. And truck slowed down enough to 43 on its own. Then she just used the, put it into the manual thing there and just slowed the truck down like that. Told her to leave the truck and you know, I would come get her and we'd tow it out of there. Well, on my way there, she started to back up, said it was fine, the brakes were working again. She limped it home, and I called the dealership the next morning, pissed off, you know, obviously. He told me, all right, you know, let's get it back in. And I told him, hey, listen, I want a loaner because I don't want basically to pick that truck up unless it's safe to drive again, you know. Told me, all right, you know, we'll see what we could do, because this dealership doesn't like to give loaners out. But he called me back and he said, like, you know, I got you a loaner, whatever, blah blah blah. Can you drive the truck down? And I told him, yeah, you know, like right now I have brakes again and it'll go past 62. Only the check engine light is on, but it's not displaying any brake failure or anything. Everything's working. So he's like, all right, get it down here. I get it down here. I pick up the loaner. I guess they pulled it off the lot because it still had the window sticker on there. You know, I signed off on it, told me don't put more than 5,000 miles on there. And I assumed they were going to have it for a while if they'd say, like, you know, don't put more than 5,000 on there, because it already had like 2,200 miles or something like that. So I take the truck, you know, and I get a call from him 6 days later. And he says to me, hey, today's the last day that your warranty will cover the loaner. We need the loaner back. And I said, all right, is my truck fixed? Tells me, well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. He goes, basically, the issues that you're having is due to the lowering kit. The lowering kit was installed incorrectly. Brake lines were routed incorrectly, blah, 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 blah. I let him go through his whole spiel and then basically told him, well, you're full of shit, because number one, I had that drop kit installed at 5,000 miles when I did my first oil change. I was like, and number two, one of your techs lowered it at the dealership. And if there was a problem with it being installed incorrectly, brake lines being routed wrong, whatever the case, I would have had issues right then and there, not 27,000 miles later. We went back and forth, and then I said, you know what? When I come down there and I pick up this truck and I bring you back this loaner, I'm going to show you all these videos that I found online and all these posts on Reddit, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. I was like, everywhere. I was like, of all these guys in brand new trucks, basically having the exact same issue that I'm having, and not one of them is modded out, right? I was like, so how do you explain that? I don't know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Said, all right, fine. I said, is my truck fixed? Well, they're working on it right now. All right, well, then you call me when it's actually fixed. I go down there the next day when they call me, and they said, like, well, we try to reroute the brake lines, blah, blah. It was kinked up, which is bullshit. I know it was bullshit because I've had those wheels off. And they basically said, like, this is the last time we'll be fixing it because, you know, the truck's been modified, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, whatever, I don't want to hear the shit. You know, you told me I could do it. You know, you guys did the drop. So, you know, I don't want to hear shit. And I still have my factory warranty. Well, it ended up going back a few more times. They couldn't fix it. And I just got tired. I tried to call GM. GM don't give a shit. You know, they know that there's a problem with these trucks, bro, and they could care less. You know, following all the posts online, it doesn't seem like anybody who's had any issues, right, has actually gotten their truck fixed. And I've seen guys post that dealers were telling them, you know, number one, the reason it was happening was because of a bad injector. That doesn't make sense. Bad spark plugs. That doesn't make any sense. A bad battery. That really doesn't make any sense. And then a bad fuel pump. You know, so it seems like all these dealerships are kind of like grasping at straws to try to figure out what is wrong with these trucks, right? But everybody says that they've continued to have issues again and again and again. Me, I need my truck for work, you know. So I just, you know, the more the truck is down, the more it hurts me financially, right? Because I need the truck obviously for work reasons. So luckily for me, the guy that sold me the truck is a good friend of mine. He's also one of my customers. The sales manager that I deal with is also, I'm very friendly with him, and he is also one of my customers. So, you know, I spoke to them the last time I brought the truck down there. I was furious because I was just going to leave it there until it was fixed. And they basically said to me, you know, maybe you should just trade it in and just get rid of it, you know. Because it doesn't look like, even they said like they didn't think that it could be fixed, right? That GM was nowhere near being able to fix this problem, right? So, you know, my thing was like, well, you know, I got the RST last year. I paid $48,000 when the sticker was $56 through them, you know, and I put a big down payment down, and my payments were low 600s, right? And I told him, I was like, you know, I've been watching all the new prices of these new trucks, and all the trucks have gone up like at least $10,000, right? And I had specifically told him a while back, you know, if I get another truck, I wanted a white RST this time, but I wanted leather, I wanted Bose, I wanted a sunroof, I wanted the power rear window, you know, I wanted everything. If I'm going to spend a lot of time in this, I wanted all the creature comforts, you know. And unfortunately for me, to get that, you know, whereas the RSTs last year were in the 50s, they are now in the high 60s, getting ready to touch the 70s, the way that I wanted it loaded. And I told them, like, you know, my payments would have just went through the roof, you know, even though I had a little bit of equity. So last week, I took a trip up to Dallas to pick up a bike, and it was just too much, you know. I turned a 7-hour trip into like over 12 because I constantly had to stop, pull the battery, let it reset, just to be able to go highway speeds. So I was upset. I called them up, called my buddies, like, find me something, get me a good deal. Which they did, you know. So they found me this. It's a 2024 LT with the Duramax, the new 3.0, right? But it's got leather, has a power rear window. Didn't come with the Bose, didn't have the sunroof, you know, unfortunately. But you know, it's not a bad truck. Like, I actually really like it, you know. Let's see if I can turn these lights on back here. I don't know, but so it's pretty nice. This one's a lot more loaded than my my RST was. You know, this one actually has that little trailering for the brake. It has a power tailgate up and down, which is pretty cool. You know, the Duramax is amazing. You know, like, gas mileage is fantastic. Like, I bought the truck with I think it was like 12 miles. So in a week, I'm already at 792, you know. But, you know, it sucks because I really did like that RST. I put a lot of money into that truck, you know. Like, I lost money all the way around going to this truck, you know. I lost my initial down payment. I wasn't upside down on a loan. So, you know, the dealer ended up giving me $41,000 for the truck. I paid $48,000, you know, and I owed roughly about, like, it was like high 34. So I had a little bit of equity rolled into it. But the problem is the interest rates, right? Like, the interest rates are like through the roof right now. And I thought it was bad last year at 5.9, and you know, even with a over 800 credit score, you know, interest rate is 7.4. You know, hopefully they'll come back down at some point, and I can refinance these, you know, and get a normal truck payment. But the way I look at it right now is like I kind of offset the payment with less trips to the pump, because that 5.3 ate a lot of gas, you know. But I don't think I'll be doing anything to this truck, to be honest with you, aside from tinting the windows. I did pull my glow tie off the other one, so I'll just install into this one. This one doesn't have fog lights, and it doesn't have the cutouts for them, so I'll have to figure something out as far as like fog lights and stuff like that. But all in all, like, you know, it sucks. And it really sucks that GM just doesn't know how to fix it, you know, and the consumer ends up being the one that pays, you know, because if I stop paying on the truck because I don't want it no more, you know, I'm the one that takes the hit. You know, if I constantly bring it back and forth to the dealer, you know, that's just more times that it sits there. I'm still continuing to make a note. These guys don't want to give up any loaners. You know, and it's just money lost, like, all the way around. So it just sucks, because, you know, I did put a lot of money into that truck. You know, even the ceramic coat, you know, I didn't even, shit, that was like maybe 5-6 months, you know, and I spent a lot of money getting ceramic coated. You know, the wheels and the suspension is not really a big deal. You know, that's just part of the game, I guess. You know, I pulled my intake off. I was able to sell it, you know, for $250, and I paid like close to $4. I kept my my bed cover. I got to get the bed liner done, but it's not bad, the LTs. You know, I used to think that they were base model, but I guess for 2024, you know, you're able to load them up pretty nice. You know, it's definitely more loaded than my RST was. You know, and just the fact that I went to a Duramax is probably a really good idea, you know. But yeah, shout out to Rodrigo and Caesar at Classic Elite Chevrolet in Sugarland, you know, for the hookup again, you know, and for helping me get out of a bad situation with very minimal, I guess, you know, damage to me, you know, financially. You know, you're always going to lose money when you trade in, but it could have been a lot worse, I guess, you know, because the used car manager was bitching, you know, the check engine light was on. He didn't want to give me shit, and I basically told him, like, yo, the whole reason I'm here is because you guys can't fucking fix my truck, dude. You know, so they ended up giving me the 41 for it. They would have given me more had I went to a used one, but you know, I would rather just have a brand new one. This way my warranty's intact, no issues, and we'll see. You know, hopefully this one doesn't turn out to be a dud, you know. But yeah, if you guys are have these 22 and up, you know, or the 22 refresh, you know, just be mindful that you may be one of these people that end up with these brake failures, you know. So just keep an eye on that. And if you happen to get it, don't even bother calling that GM customer service, because those guys are fucking useless. You know, they'll literally just blow smoke up your ass, and they're not helping you. The guy didn't help me. I cursed him out. I told him all types of shit, and I'm not even going to repeat what I told him on here. But yeah, you know, once the truck is cleaned up, it's been a shitty week. It's been raining all week, but I'll get her cleaned up. I'll probably grab some 20s, because it only came with 18s, which sucked. I'll probably just go to like some factory 20 or 22s or something like that, and tint the windows and call it a day. But I'll take some more videos once she's all cleaned up, and let you guys, I'll do a whole tour of the truck. All right, thanks for watching.